In the dense, humid jungles of Jamaica, where the wind rustled the banana leaves and the moonlit nights echoed with the sounds of drums and distant whispers, there lived a creature known only as the Duppy Nyam. It was a name that sent chills through the bones of every villager, for to utter it was to invite terror. The Duppy Nyam was no ordinary spirit. It was a dark entity that preyed on the vulnerable, and its favorite victims were fatherless children. They said the creature was once a man, a wicked Obeah sorcerer who had sold his soul to dark forces for power and immortality. But in doing so, he had damned himself, his soul twisted and corrupted, and when he died, he did not pass on to the afterlife. Instead, his spirit was transformed into something monstrous. The Duppy Nyam roamed the earth, driven by hunger and vengeance. By day, it was invisible, moving with the shadows, stalking the children whose fathers had either abandoned them or died. But when night fell and the crescent moon hung low in the sky, the creature revealed itself. It took the form of a tall, gaunt figure with glowing red eyes and long, thin fingers tipped with sharp claws. Its skin was as dark as the deepest caves, and its breath smelled of decaying leaves and stagnant water. The Duppy Nyam hunted children, but not just any child, only those without a father to protect them. Some believed that the creature itself had been abandoned as a child, and now it sought to inflict the same loneliness and despair upon others. It was said that it could smell the absence of a father like a predator scents blood. Once it had chosen its target, it would whisper their name through the wind, luring them into the jungle with promises of treasures, laughter, or the return of their long-lost father. One such child was a boy named Caleb. His father had drowned in a fishing accident when Caleb was barely 5 years old, leaving him and his mother to fend for themselves. The village elders warned Caleb's mother to be careful, for the Duppy Nyam was known to prey on the fatherless. She kept Caleb close at all times. But as the years passed, her guard lowered, and she believed they were safe. But the Duppy Nyam never forgot its prey. One warm summer night, as Caleb lay in his small bed, he heard a faint voice calling his name from outside. It was soft at first, barely louder than the rustling of the trees, but as he listened it grew clearer. "Caleb, Caleb, come me pickney, come to me." He sat up in bed, his heart pounding in his chest. The voice was strange yet familiar, like his father's but distant and hollow. He crept to the window and peered outside. In the moonlight, he saw a figure standing at the edge of the jungle, beckoning him. "Caleb, it's me, your father." Caleb's heart leaped with hope. Could it be true? Could his father have returned from the dead? Ignoring the warnings of the elders, Caleb opened the door and stepped outside. The figure in the distance began to move deeper into the jungle, and Caleb followed. As he ventured further from the village, the air grew colder, and the comforting sounds of the night animals fell silent. The figure moved with an unnatural speed, always just out of reach, and the voice, once warm, grew darker, more menacing. "Come closer, me boy." Caleb hesitated. Something was wrong. He looked around and realized he was far from home, deep in the jungle, where even the bravest villagers dared not go after dark. The figure ahead stopped, and for the first time, Caleb saw it clearly. The man who had been calling him was no man at all. It was tall, too tall, with glowing red eyes that pierced the darkness and long, skeletal fingers that reached out for him. It was the Duppy Nyam. Caleb's blood turned to ice. He turned to run, but the creature was fast. It reached out and grabbed his shoulder, its touch freezing like ice. As it pulled him closer, its mouth opened wide, revealing rows of sharp, jagged teeth. Caleb screamed, but his voice was lost in the stillness of the jungle. Suddenly, a flash of light illuminated the night. A figure appeared, an old woman dressed in white, chanting in a language Caleb did not understand. It was Miss Myra, the village Obeah woman. She had sensed the creature's presence and come to save the boy. With every word she spoke, the Duppy Nyam recoiled, hissing and shrieking, its body writhing in pain. The creature released Caleb and vanished into the shadows, defeated for now. Miss Myra knelt beside Caleb, her eyes filled with both relief and warning. "Ya must be careful, child. The Duppy Nyam nah give up so easy. It will come back for ya." Caleb nodded, shaken but grateful. From that night on, he knew he could never let his guard down, for the Duppy Nyam was always lurking, waiting for the moment when he felt most alone. And so the legend of the Duppy Nyam lived on, whispered among the villagers as a reminder that in the dark corners of the world, there are creatures that